Welcome. In front of me is a Motorola Moto G04, and today I will go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. So jumping straight into this, let's cut our way in. This is a very budget version of the device from Motorola, a budget offering, and let's just see what we get for that price, which is the price being about $100 US. So outside of the phone, we also get a charger. Wow, look at that. For $100 you can get a charger. Who would have thought, Samsung? Now, obviously this charger won't be like anything great. This specific one is 10 watts. The camera can actually focus on here. You can see it right here above the trash can. So yeah, it's not fast, but obviously comes provided with a device. And when you're buying a budget device, you might not have a charger. Maybe that's your first phone. Pretty nice that one comes with a device. I'm not even gonna complain that it's slow, as the device is at one of the lowest price points. And let's peel off the cover. Yoink, there we go. Toss that to the side and boot up the device. And going over the specs right here, we have a 6.5-inch display running a resolution of 720 by 1612 pixels, IPS LCD with also, surprisingly, 90 Hz refresh rate. Now it's not 120, but obviously it's still better than the typical 60. And keep in mind, again, $100. It also boasts an 85% screen to body ratio with pixel density of 169. So there we go. In terms of brightness, there's no info, but I would expect that it doesn't get super bright as it is just an IPS display. I'm gonna go to the setup just so I can showcase this, how bright it gets. Though keep in mind, this won't be anything like super good. So if it gets blown out, I would assume that it's over like 600. If the whites become a little bit kind of like blown out to the point that you can't see on the video what they are exactly. So let's just finish this up. Come on. Okay, yeah, so this is probably below 500 nits. So it doesn't get too bright. There is a chance that I might actually able to get it a little bit brighter. Let me quickly check. And I grab my phone and I'm gonna just enable flashlight. Now the reason I'm gonna do that is because some phones boost the brightness if they detect a brighter light source. So as an example, you go outside to sunlight, they get briefly a brighter display, but yeah, it's not going any brighter. So this is the brightest it can get by the looks of it. Okay. Anyway, continuing on into the internals, this device has a 5000 mAh battery and it actually can charge at 15 watts charging speed. Quickly check, maybe there is a... Nope. So this charger is... Oh wait, there it was somewhere. Yep, so there we go, we can actually see it right here. So it's a 10 watt charger, but the device is capable of charging at 15 watts. So if you have a faster charger, you can utilize that to get your device charged up a little bit quicker. Obviously, pretty nice. Now, let's say the battery. This device is being powered by a Unisec T606 processor and comes with either 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, depending on how much storage you go with. So the very base entry of this device comes with 64 gigs of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Then the next one is 128 gigs and 4 gigs of RAM, and 128 with 8 gigs of RAM. When it comes on as a recommendation, I would probably recommend going for at least the 128 gigabytes of storage on here, as 64 might sometimes be too little. Even though this device does have expandable storage, I do want to point out, I don't know if this is still the case. I haven't actually checked it out in a while, but at a certain point on Androids, you wouldn't be able to install all the applications on the SD card. And you would be forced to install them on the internal storage of the device, obviously limiting your options right there, and obviously the storage that it can utilize. So that was pretty annoying. And that's one of the reasons I would recommend going for the higher storage other than the 64, just because encountering this problem, once you encounter it, you're kind of shit out of luck and you can't really do much about it. So it's better to just pay like 10-20 bucks more and have more storage rather than later on just suffer because you just wanted to save that couple bucks. Now, moving on into the cameras, which we have just one, at least at the back. We have a 16 megapixel f2.2 wide sensor, and that can record videos at 1080p 30 frames. And then at the front in that hole punched screen, we have a 5 megapixel camera, f2.2 wide sensor, and again 1080p 30 frames. So cameras here are just here as for you to capture pictures casually, just capture the moment, but not really have too much detail in it, to be honest. Another thing to talk about is the build quality. The device comes with a case provided, so that's pretty nice. Taking that off, we have a plastic back, which no surprise there. Plastic frame, again, no surprise there. The power button on the side actually doubles as a fingerprint sensor. Then we have volume rockers. At the top we have a headphone jack, so that actually surprised me to see. Outside of that, nothing else. And then on our left side, we have almost completely clean side with the inclusion of a tray, which bringing out the tool, not the SIM card. We have space for 2 different SIM cards and 1 dedicated SD card. So it does give you a choice to expand the storage and also still use dual SIM card if you want to. And then at the bottom, we have our speakers along with our Type-C charging port. And I do want to point out, it's nice to see a Type-C charging port on such a cheap device, but I also want to not give credit where credit probably isn't due, as companies like Motorola, for instance, wouldn't be able to get away with producing this device in 2024, which is when this device was released, precisely January 18th. So they can't actually give you micro USB, and I'm pretty sure if they could, they would still include it. As before, European Union forced all the companies to include this charging port specifically on every device. Companies were still producing the micro USBs on their budget, specifically devices, which I would have expected Motorola would probably have put on this device if they could. So there we go. This basically sums up the device. Now with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.